guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're here to talk about Jojo Siwa. Now, I didn't really want to talk about Jojo Siwa for a number of reasons, mainly because I've seen a number of people hating, and let us recall there is a difference between hating and critique. One of them actually has something to say and the other one's just being mean for the sake of it. We're not gonna do the hating because honestly, I know Jojo's 21, but in my head, it feels like she's still 10 or however old she was when she appeared in the internet sphere, whatever. Her content was clearly not up my alley, so I'm not like an OG JoJo watcher. To this day, I'm not a JoJo watcher, so that just makes me sound creepy. Watcher? I don't know, I feel like I should have used another term. But anyway, I'm not her target audience, I'm not her target demographic, so I'm going to say this as an elderly, if you will, outsider. What I wanted to talk about today is the abrupt image switch that has occurred with JoJo. Now, this is not a critique of JoJo actually. The image switch thing is interesting to see in real time simply because I feel like, especially with child Disney stars, which I think are a pretty good parallel to JoJo, they are so infantilized for as long as possible and so family friendly and so PG that as soon as they basically age out of all of that, as soon as they have any type of adult behavior, whether that's expressing their sexuality, being in relationships openly, so like paparazzi taking pictures of them kissing someone, being drunk, any adult activity, it's jarring because it's usually 0 to 100. Like it's haha hee Disney Channel and then boom, there's a sex tape. That's not the case here, but I feel, well, I don't know, maybe it will be. I have no idea, but it's been that kind of abrupt image switch here too, as far as I'm concerned. Now, maybe people who watch her closely have seen a slower shift. From what I've seen, it's been pretty 0 to 100, and I think that that's also why JoJo is such a big topic. Now, there are a number of things I want to talk about because within this image switch or this maturing, whatever you want to call it, there have been things occurring that definitely did not help. One of which is the song Karma. Now, the song Karma, I feel like I've heard it way too many times, all against my consent, I will say. I do not like having that song in my head, I will tell you that. So, JoJo does so much fucking publicity for this song, right? She's really hyping it up. Okay. So she actually gets interviewed by Billboard. I'll put a clip of the video if I can. It probably will get copyrighted. It'll be linked down below if it's not going to be here. All right, so Billboard claimed that video, so I'm going to briefly paraphrase / summarize what Jojo Siwa said. If you really have a hankering to hear her voice, I will link and timestamp the video down below so you can go see on the Billboard YouTube her whole interview. God help you. So basically there are 2 points here that I think are essential to note in the interview. Point 1, she talks about the lyrics of the song. Now, she goes on to say that she wasn't sure if she wanted to use "I've been a bad girl," "she's been a bad girl." It's a long-winded way of saying I was a bad girl basically sounded best, but she hadn't been a bad girl, so she felt uncomfortable saying that because it wasn't representative, blah, blah, blah. Nobody really cares about whether she's been a bad girl or not, whatever that might mean. It's more the question of, if you say, "Ah, yes, I wasn't sure what lyrics to use while we were writing," the impression you're giving is that you wrote it, not that you were taking someone's lyrics and changing maybe a letter. That is a point of contention because you're kind of framing it in a misleading way where it's like when we were writing it and it's like, okay, girl, it was written, you pressed like backspace twice, okay? So whatever. So the other thing was that the song had a 2010 sound. That's what she said, right? Which to us makes sense because someone else wrote it in what year? Ah, yes, 2011. So it would make sense that it sounds like 2010 on account of a 12-month difference. You're taking a song that was from that time, so it makes sense that it would sound like that time. But by reframing it as it sounds like this other time, it makes it sound like you wrote it like last year and it sounds like it was a decade ago. But that's not the case. So again, questionable. You guys can make up your mind, but these are certainly things that made people believe that she wrote it, which then worsened the scandal when people found out that she didn't write it. And here we are. So this immediately turns into a scandal because the song was actually recorded, I believe it was back in 2011, by this other singer, Brit Smith, and she's a quote-unquote unknown singer who gave up on music after songs with Akon and will.i.am Now her 12-year-old version of Karma has overtaken Siwa's. So people found that Brit Smith had actually already recorded this song, and they hyped up her song because the way that JoJo had framed it to the public prior to this being outed was that she wrote it. Now, again, I don't know if that's a misunderstanding on my part and many other people's part, but I also feel like if all of us are misunderstanding, it's hard for me to believe we're all morons, right? Okay, so it was originally written by Rock Mafia, produced by Timbaland, but it was never actually released. So it's a song that was out there, but not really out there in terms of us, the public. As of right now, actually, Smith's version of Karma has managed to climb to number 8 on the US iTunes pop charts, and Siwa's is still at number 89. So needless to say, this whole song drama is serious, but it wouldn't have been the end of the world if Jojo Siwa, had just addressed that she was using a song that was already written. If she'd given the credit where it was due, I feel like everything would have been fine. It wouldn't have been that deep. Unfortunately, this was mismanaged, and this is something that I think is going also with the whole new image thing. It's a mismanagement, because if you're changing your image, and granted I've never had to do that, I've never had the level of fame that Jojo Siwa has, so perhaps I'm wrong about all of it, but I feel like you have to be organized, because if you are going to switch shit up drastically, you're already going to get a level of critique just for, you know, being true to who you are, if that's what you're doing. And then on top of that, if you fuck up, it's going to be very easy to say that before you were fake, or now you're fake, and now you're, you know, like, I just feel like you're giving into a certain level of pressure, and you will fold under it if you don't have the right scaffolding in place. Does that make sense? So JoJo also went viral for having this like kiss eye makeup thing. I've seen this way too much. She ended up getting this tattooed, which is a choice. I'm not here to judge anyone's tattoos, but considering that people kind of gave her a hard time about this look, I don't know if it's a response to that. I don't know if she's going to be happy about it in 5 years. Regardless, that's also something that happened that garnered a level of critique, but it's a harmless tattoo, so there's not really much to say. The dance for the song Karma. There's this one dance move that I think will haunt my nightmares at this point, because again, I have seen too much. I've seen this clip too much. I've seen her do the dance move with fucking Mario Lopez. I've seen her do it with her dancers on her TikTok, on YouTube. I cannot see this dance move anymore. It looks weird and jerky to me. The dance move is what would happen to me if I put a fork in a plug. So that's how I feel about the dance move, okay? I'm not a choreographer, so my opinion means jack. There was a lot of critique about this dance move, and again, like I said, as soon as there is a switch in your image, I feel like you're more likely to get critiqued, so you really have to cover your bases. Was this something that could be prevented? Probably not, unless you threw away the whole dance move, which honestly I would have supported, but regardless, this was also critiqued. So then Jojo Siwa turned 21 recently, and she went to Disney World and got entirely fucking blasted. Hammered. Just fucking drunk as hell. And there are multiple videos of her at Disney. There's one where she wants to do a sing-along of her song with people, but the people don't know the lyrics. And I don't think I've ever felt so uncomfortable in my life.
I should have known better. Wish I would have never effed around. Yeah, we know it.
Thou shalt not
Lie,
Thou shalt not
cheat,
Thou shalt not get caught, or you'll
end up just like me. Can I get a picture? Ready? Right there. Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday, girl.
Like this. Who is that?
That's Jojo Siwa, and she's drunk off her ass.
Aside from that, there have been other videos that JoJo has posted where she is clearly inebriated, and honestly, like, that's nothing to really write home about because she's 21. The whole being kind of an obnoxious drunk girly, I mean, it happens to most people whenever you reach the legal drinking age. If you haven't been drinking prior especially, there's a whole like, oh my god, I'm so drunk, I can barely walk, haha, whatever. It happens, okay? I think most of us have been there, whatever. The difference is, again, that JoJo is not the average girly who posts it on her Snapchat and has 20 people see it. This is millions of people. This is going to be reported on. The background of your kitchen, whatever, people are going to zoom into that. People are going to get really fucking weird about it. And so I think that part of the critique isn't really critiquing the thing itself. It's about the platform you're putting it on.
It's my 21st birthday. I'm drunk as fuck right now. Something over there. It's my bread I'm supposed to eat. I got punched in the eye. It hurts really bad, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's my liquor spread.
Jojo.
Happy 21st birthday to me.
Had she put this on her close friends, if she has a close friends on Instagram, it probably would have had a different reception. It's not that big of a deal, but again, this is part of what I'm saying of the image switch being messy. Because again, if you're going to get fucking hammered, do you, I guess, but it's also like, I don't know if your fans are still young girls. I don't know what JoJo's demographic is. Hopefully they're people at least her age. But if they are younger and you were selling this kind of like kitty girly image 2 months ago and now you're here, you know, these aren't the people who should be seeing you getting hammered. Does that make sense? So again, it's a question of organization. Now, I don't really know what direction JoJo is planning on going in terms of her content. I don't know if she's gonna turn into a full musician or continue, I don't know how to categorize her content. She's gonna continue making the content she was making before. I know at one point she sold bows. Are we gonna get that with rhinestones? I don't know, okay? But I am wondering what direction this is going in. Also because realistically, this rebrand, this new image, whatever we want to call it, she's either gonna have to stick with it and really commit, or if she goes back to what she was before, she's gonna be stuck there too. Because if you try to change image and then you go back to your original image, it's kind of like admitting, oh yeah, this was never really me. And even though image is fluid and all of that, we know that the public doesn't really react that way with internet personalities. They like to, we all like to do it to an extent, categorize people in a box. So if someone asks you, hey, what content creator is Jojo Siwa? What does she make? You have category name, right? To an extent, it's normal. It's just that I think at some point it will be asphyxiating if you're stuck in the wrong category that isn't true to who you are, if you're not comfortable, blah, blah. So I don't know, I guess we'll see what happens. I am relatively confused at where we're going, but I think that's also normal. And I also wonder how much of this has to do with the fact that maybe when she was an adolescent, there was a level of potential stifling in the sense of if you have to be stuck in a box, how much room do you really have to explore who you are? So is that what's happening now? And if it is, I hope people let her do that. Is that me saying JoJo is an angel, blameless, whatever? No, I don't know about any of that. Like I said, this is not really a critique of JoJo as an internet personality as much as it's the rebranding that's going on being messy. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.